Good morning. It is still morning here on the West Coast. So welcome to Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Let's go to our word of the day. Word of the day is Quodlibet. The topic for exercise and philosophical or theological discussion, or a lighthearted medley of well-known tunes. I went to the jazz brunch last weekend that opened with the Quodlibet of some of my favorite songs. So let us go over to see where the heat map is working today. We'll just refresh this. So Microsoft is pulling back a little bit after its big bounce on earnings. Oracle is down, Adobe, Apple is up. Google and Meta are pulling back. NVIDIA is slightly down. Broadcom, AMD, a few others are up. Amazon is up slightly. Financials is a mixed bag. Wells Fargo continues to lead. Tesla is up over 14% after full self-driving is allowed in China. Mixed bag in healthcare. Oil area is up slightly and industrials are up. So that's a look at our heat map. And share the screen here. I'd like to say that if you spent a lifetime building up your wealth and you're worried about a downturn like 2008, 2002, 2003, might be a good idea to roll that over, because in this type of account, you never lose money. Still can invest in the market. Market goes down, they just don't lose any money. If it goes up, your account goes up. Step up, and step up. It beats index investing by about 5%. And currently there's bonuses of 30 to 45% available. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to me. And that is that. Let us go to our chart. We're looking at ON Semiconductor. Their earnings came out earlier today. So they had a number of blue bars here in the semiconductors. Their earnings were down 9%, $1.08, but apparently this was well liked. It's up a little over 3%. Let's look at the dollar. Dollar is down today, down 0.38%. Silver is slightly down, but pretty flat for the day. Sold off and bouncing back. Gold is up slightly, pretty flat for the day actually. Arrow continues its move up. The leader is Southern Copper. Looks like it's breaking out to a new level. Looks like it broke out on Friday, continues up today. See what our copper index is doing. Wow, look at that thing move. Look at Freeport-McMoRan. It's up pretty strong again today, up 3.5%. Vale up as well, butting his head at 10-day moving average. We got kind of a little consolidation. Looks like it's breaking out of that area right now. BHP was having some issues last week. It is bouncing today, up 0.62%. Finally, Rio is up as well. Let's see if we And bring up the BTC pricing. It has fallen significantly from where it was over the weekend. Share our screen. Here's BTC. It was up 64.9, 65,000. So it has come back down quite a bit. It's trying to bounce from the lower levels it had. And take a look at Ethereum. Let's see opportunity, and here we go. Ethereum was up by, I believe, at 3,300 over the weekend. And we can see right about here. And it has fallen with Bitcoin as well. So that's the story with those two asset classes. Let's go back to our screens. Look at what the bond yields are doing. They're falling below the 10-day moving average. So we're at 4.61, 4.62%. Got a little pause on our charts here. Look at the 20-year. 20-year is falling to 3.73%. Yeah, slightly below its 10-day moving average as well. Take a look at the IWM, which does well when this falls, gapping up above the 20-day moving average. Dow Jones up slightly. The NASDAQ is up slightly, kind of building above the 20-day moving average. Equal weighted NASDAQ looks about the same. S&P 500 up above the 20-day. And our RSP, the equal weighted S&P 500, they all look relatively the same, up 0.62%. Look at our ETFs within the S&P 500. Financials pulling back a little bit. Energy up slightly, up 0.41%. Take a look at what oil is doing. Oil is pulling back a little bit. Communications, it got turned away at all of its major moving averages. Looks like it's trying to fill the gap. Real estate is up slightly with the bond yields coming down. Here we got utilities rising. Biotech gapping up above its 10-day moving average. And we got a pretty big move up to its 20-day on the IBB. Infrastructure up to it, trying to get above its moving averages here. Looks like it's forming a little cup consolidation here. Semiconductors trying to get above its 50-day moving average, up 0.28%. AMD is, I believe, is reporting this week. Yeah, 1 day. Airlines trying to work on a pretty big cup with handle formation right here. Needs to get up above 21.22. Metals and mining. Moving up here. See what a couple of the steel issues are doing. Trying to get back to where they were. Home builders. And out of the office. We'll look at a couple of cruise ships this week, speaking of travel, in the San Francisco Bay. So may have some pictures a little later on that. I believe it's Oceana is one of them, but we'll keep you up to date. So that is our look at the trending ETFs. So let's go to our news. And we looked at On Semiconductors, a big company that's doing reporting after the close is, I believe, MicroStrategy. Yes, and Para in the automobile sector. We take a look at Tesla shares are up, I believe it's 12%. One Beijing's blessing to roll out its driver assistance service, a visit to China, up 14%. I guess it hit 200 and is pulled back a little bit. AMC Entertainment, Q1 beat a loss, 31.6 million versus estimate of 31.2 million. And they're down 12%. What Tesla is gaining, they are losing today. Domino's Pizza, Q1 EPS $3.58 versus $3.39. Looks like it's breaking out a cup formation. Up 5.22%. Viking Holdings upsizes IPO to 3 million shares from 53 million shares from 44 million shares as pricing expected later this week. So that is not available quite yet. ALB mentioned positively in Barron's. Albemarle noting shares were crushed by electrical vehicles showing growth woes, while lithium prices are down more than 80% since peaking in 2022. It is up 7.25% on that news. Boeing was downgraded to negative from stable by Fitch and reaffirmed its BBB long-term issuer default rating. But their shares are up 2.8%. EHang unveiled on Sunday a partnership with Guangzhou Greater Bay Technology Company to develop ultra-fast charging, extreme fast charging battery products for EHang's electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. So these guys are up to close to 2.5% onto healthcare. Royal Philips, a big mover today, shares rise over 40% pre-market. They were up and then they have fallen to the lowest level, still gapping up 26% on the day, saying it had reached a $1.1 billion settlement with the U.S. related to Respironics ventilators, backed its full year guidance, said that the agreement relates to personal injury litigation and medical monitoring class action in the U.S., but that Philips Respironics hasn't admitted any fault or liability. On to Alta Immune, downgraded to neutral from buy at Guggenheim. Mankind announces independent clearance from US FDA to start phase 3 study of clofazimine inhalation suspension for non-tuberculosis, mycobacterial lung disease. So they tried to move higher above the 50 and then they moved down, but they're still up 1.18%. Morphosystem said its takeover of Novartis is still expected to close in the first half of this year. Yeah, their stock is down 4.38%. PTC Therapeutics upgraded to equal weight from underweight at Morgan Stanley, raised the target to $30, and it is rising almost 12%, up to $32. X4 announces FDA approval of XOL Remedy capsules, first drug indicated in patients with WHIM syndrome. And the technology, media, and telecom. Apple was upgraded to outperform from market perform with an unchanged price target of 195 at Bernstein. They're up to 173 today, a big gap up 2.5%. Although they were up higher and they're near their low for the day. Apple was renewed in talks with OpenAI about using the company's technology to power some new features coming to the iPhone this year later. Bloomberg reported on Friday, and also on Apple. Upcoming iPad Pro may launch with a M4 chip, kicking off Apple's AI strategy that will be expanded at WWDC, Bloomberg reported. AT&T upgraded to overweight from equal weighted Barclays with an unchanged price target of $20. They're currently at 1704, up 1.73%. And finally, the screen went dark on our last pick. Duolingo, language learning app, and Elf Beauty cosmetics site have both found great success using TikTok to drive their growth. That could be threatened now with the US has banned the social media platform because of its Chinese ownership, according to Barron's. And Duolingo is up slightly today, 0.64%. And Elf Beauty, which is a holding bars, is actually falling to 170. So that is the news for the day. So let's go to our morning workout. See what's up, 3%, 50% increase in volume. Domino's Pizza, which we looked at in the news, up a little over 5%, and Carrier Global. Heating, ventilating, air systems looks like they're breaking out today, up 3.22%. The earnings came in last week, up 19%. Moving on to what's up, 5%, 100% increase in volume. We have 18 items. There was 20 earlier. 2 fell off the list. AudioEye. Earnings up 900%. 8 cents versus 1 cent loss. Yeah, it looks like a little consolidation. They got a bounce off the 20-day. They tried to move higher today, and they're pretty flat for remaining in this kind of channel formation. Baidu is breaking higher above the 50-day moving average, up 6%. On market surge over the weekend, Scott St. Clair discussed how he thought the Chinese market might have a little bit of a bounce. So Baidu is playing into that. Cullinan Therapeutics, pretty extended, up 7.43%. The Cyphera Pharmacy gapping up 72%. 72%. Either there's a buyout or some news about some drug coming to life. See if we got any information here. Yeah, Ono Pharmaceutical $2.4 billion takeover bid. Why that's moving up. It's at Domino's Pizza. Fulton Financial gapping up 7.36%. Couple of good volume bars in a row. Look at all this blue area over here. Heartland Financial. Earnings came in at 3% negative, and the stock is up over 17% today. People must have thought they were in for a worse quarter. Impinj. Earnings came in at negative 25% last week, and it flew right through the breakout zone, pulled back slightly on Friday, and it continues up higher today. We looked at this in the news. Health company, they're at the low for the day. Lens Therapeutics. Pretty big sell-off here, trying to get back in the area. Myriad Genetics. I'll just quickly spacebar through this. Kind of down. Got a lot of buying today ahead of earnings. Genomics. Got earnings tomorrow. Somebody must think they know something. Philbro Animal Health, look at that move. That is amazing, up 30%. Looked at PTC in the news. Quick Logic. Getting above its 50-day moving average. Soleno Therapeutics. Big gap up, closing it's near its low for the day, still up 20%. Sumitomo. Imports, exports, metals, machinery, electronics. Wow, look at that gap up 7%. Earnings in 7 days. Actually, in 3 days, I apologize. And finally, looked at Tesla in the news. And finally, let's go to what's up. 10%, 200% increase in volume. The Cyphera Pharmacy, I believe, yeah, this was a takeover bid. Soleno, and we saw all of these earlier, so that is what is happening. Take a look at some recent profit winners. Google's trying to fill the gap here. Had a huge gap up, and now is pulling back off of that gap. Microsoft doing similar action. They have definitely filled the gap already, down 1.5%. Meta is falling after trying to rise last week. It's down 3.23%. Netflix And a big move to 570 and then a big pullback here. And it's off 0.89%. NVIDIA, slight pullback to its 50-day moving average and then bounce up 0.8%. We looked at Tesla, Amazon, pretty flat for the day, up 0.24%. I believe their earnings are later this week. We got back into Celsius. See if that can move. Pretty flat for the day. We did buy some of Toast on Friday. Toast is still kind of working on their consolidation. Pretty flat, down 0.38%. We had options on RTX. So kind of put us into the stock. We'll kind of watch this. And some pretty tight closes here. Provides aerospace, defense systems, and services for commercial, military, government customers. Cava Mediterranean Grill had a big move on Friday, and it's up another 1.5% today. We have 1,000 shares in Cava. Looked at ELF. A-Lab had a pretty strong move on Friday, and it's up another 2.72%. So I would say pretty clearly that this is a breakout. Kind of draw the line right here over a majority of the price volume. Drove right through there, continues higher. Let's see what else is on our agenda. Four. You'll have some things in 4. We'll see if they can work on a bottoming base. We just have some call spreads on this. I believe Square expired. We'll just keep an eye on this. There are 3 stocks in the payment area. Fiserv has this company Clover. They put on a bid on 4, but they're just kind of bouncing around there, remain above the 50-day moving average. And that's kind of where we're at right now. MicroStrategy earnings after the bell. It's down 1%, but mainly moving on Bitcoin. And that is our report for Monday. Hope everybody has a great start to the week. We'll be back here for Taco Tuesday, maybe a little later report as we got a cruise ship to go analyze tomorrow. Hope everybody has a great week, and we look forward to seeing you later. Keep working on your goals and your activities. And if we can help you with anything out there, please feel free to get in touch with us. Have a great day.